Hey everyone, Adam Beck here from HardcoreGamer.com, and today we're taking a look at Persona 5 for the PlayStation 4. This has been one of the most highly anticipated games for quite some time now, at least among the Japanese RPG community. I mean, Hardcore Gamer has had it on our list for 3 years running now. It originally hit Japan back in September of 2016, but fans in the West have had to wait a little longer. We were able to get some extensive hands-on time with the English version, and from what we've played, it has left us impressed.
So good.
Starting off with the story, unlike past games in the franchise, Persona 5 takes place in a modern interpretation of Tokyo. This means players will be visiting iconic districts within the massive city, such as Shibuya and Akihabara. Atlus even went out of their way to outline the world map with the various train lines that weave through Tokyo. You play as a, semi-silent protagonist as he's thrust into a new living situation after a run-in with the law. One thing about the story is that it's, pretty grim. While the series has never shied away from depressing or disturbing situations, Persona 5's first scenario alone has a lot of drama, dealing with some dark themes. Due to these events, and after coming across a mysterious phantom world filled with twisted hearts, the protagonist puts it upon himself to help those in need by becoming a phantom thief. The general plot is about going into someone's twisted world and, as their name suggests, stealing something important to change their ways. Regarding the cast of characters, they're, your typical Persona personalities. Starting things off is Ryuji, your first new friend in the new city and a bit of a hothead.
Are you picking a fight with me?
Ann is a model who's a bit down in the dumps when you first meet her, but a cheerful spirit as the plot moves on.
Sweet girl.
And finally, Morgana is a spunky cat-like creature trying to find himself.
I am not a cat.
That's just to name a few, as there's a plethora of fresh faces that span across this lengthy story. While the story has always been an important part to Persona games, the gameplay is just as crucial. Without doubt, the biggest difference with Persona 5 is how they handle dungeons. Instead of having randomized floors, each dungeon is meticulously designed with progression varying based on the layout. Because of this, the developers have been able to implement various puzzle mechanics, sometimes within the dungeon, sometimes outside the Phantom world. The random dungeon design hasn't been completely thrown out though, as it has been implemented into Mementos. Mementos is a labyrinth of dungeons that facilitate various side quests, be it through confidants or random encounters in Tokyo. While exploring dungeons, stealth is a surprisingly large focus, allowing the player to hide around corners and sneak up on unsuspecting enemies. While this sounds concerning on paper, it actually speeds up the overall exploration and the ability to get the jump on enemies. In addition, a couple new elements have been added to the strength and weakness tree, including psychic and nuclear, but there's also projectile damage. While each character is given a melee weapon, they also receive a projectile weapon of some sorts. So far, this hasn't been the most effective way to take down enemies, especially considering ammo is limited and it doesn't replenish until returning to the real world, but there are certain enemies that are weak against it. Now, one of the best mechanics making its return is the Shadow Negotiation. While it has been a staple of the Shin Megami Tensei series, the last couple of Persona games have departed from this feature. This allows players to talk to downed shadows during a holdup, either negotiating an alliance or extorting them for money or items. It's a charming mechanic that sometimes can feel a bit erratic, especially considering it's always the second response that's the determining factor. Finally, we can't talk about Persona without mentioning the social links, or as they're called now, confidants. These are individuals within Tokyo, both your teammates and various others, who have their own stories to tell. These seem far more vital than ever before, not only giving you bonus XP when combining Persona, but also various other attributes. For example, the Sun will help you with shadow negotiations, while Hierophant allows you to make SP healing beverages. As always, this is a conversation tree, so depending on how you respond to specific individuals, the less time it will take to get to know them. So for example, you can't be too jokey with serious confidants, or pry too hard into the business of someone who's just drowning their sorrows away, at least not immediately. In the end, we've spent a lot of time with Persona 5, and it's shaping up to be a masterful RPG.
That's reassuring.
There's just an incredible amount of content. Heck, we didn't even get to talk about the after-school activities you can partake in, or the new Velvet Room fusion abilities. This is a trusted formula that has been properly improved upon, and will have existing fans more than happy. We're excited to share more of our final thoughts a little closer to when Persona 5 is released on April 4th for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. For more on Persona 5 and everything gaming related, head on over to hardcoregamer.com for your fix.